back on the left coast.
Woohoo!
Unfortunately, no longer undefeated, but we're back from Buffalo. Or I'm back from Buffalo.
He's back from Buffalo. I'm not. I've been here the whole time. Hello,
Been here
everybody.
the whole time, holding down the fort.
Loving it. Loving it.
Yeah, so we'll dive right into the sad news first and go from there. The Bills lost yesterday to the Patriots again. But I guess the silver lining here, dear, is they played like absolute garbage. They turned the ball over a bunch of times. Their franchise quarterback got hurt. And despite all of these things, they had a...
Are we talking about the Patriots or the Bills?
We're talking about the Bills.
Okay.
Had a blocked punt return for a touchdown against us. Despite all of these things working against us, it was still only a 16-10 game, and we should have beat them. We should have beat them. We should have beat them. So it's no longer like we should be embarrassed to be on the same field with them. It's now like even in our worst game, we were still right there with them. So screw these guys. They're done.
But at least it wasn't the game you went back to Buffalo for.
No,
Would have been painful.
That game,
painful.
That game means a little less now because it was such a setup game for this game. So both teams would come in 3-0, and there'd be this big showdown, and it could be our time now. And with them not winning this week, that game means a little bit less. But yes, I was back there all weekend for Homecoming Weekend. We did a bunch of live streams and stuff. I'm going to talk about a little bit of the lessons learned from doing 3 live streams back to back, including 2 of them in parking lots. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. We got some highlights to show from the weekend as well, including, I promised everybody, we'd show the ketchup and mustard. We've got the ketchup and mustard spraying going on in this episode.
Very exciting.
So,
yeah, the Bills lost.
Yeah, but the craziest thing that happened the whole time was actually on my flight home. Put this guy up on screen real quick there.
Is it a video?
It's a video, yeah.
All right. I think everyone might want to hear it, too, while you cry and scream.
No, but you can't see what I'm about to explain. So a couple miles to the left of the plane, it was like a wall of clouds, and this whole thunderstorm was happening in that wall of clouds. And we're like driving parallel with it all the way to freaking California, and it was nuts. I've never seen lightning like hit that consistently, and that.
So you're saying the seatbelt on sign was on all the time?
It was on pretty consistently. The last hour was a freaking nightmare.
Actual turbulence?
Oh, it's the worst turbulence I've ever experienced for the last hour. But I was white knuckling it all the way back, freaking losing my mind. I just don't understand how it stays in the air when it's shaking that violently.
And when it's shaking that violently, Chris, do you wear your seatbelt?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I am not going to make matters worse.
Make them worse, because
yes.
If you drop rapidly in the air, you know that if you're not in a seatbelt, you will smack into the overhead part that's like 1.5 feet above your head.
There's always going to be somebody else that's not in a seatbelt, whether it's a flight attendant
so you both have
or
concussions
a person on the way to the bathroom or whatever it is. So if they're going to survive, I'm going to survive. The situation is this. I've been in 3 cars that were totaled, wasn't wearing a seatbelt in any of them, walked away relatively unscathed from all 3 of them. And every plane ride I've ever flown in my life, I have never worn the seatbelt. I give them that little illusion, so it's kind of over my waist, so they think it's buckled. Give the flight attendants their peace of mind.
People.
Because here's the reason why: if this plane goes into the shit and we're going down, that seatbelt ain't gonna change nothing. We're goners one way or the other. So it's now a superstition thing that every flight I've gone on, I haven't worn the seatbelt and I've successfully landed on the other end. I'm not messing with that kind of juju. That's one hell of a streak.
All right. Well, I guess it worked. There we go.
I'm
At
here.
least we have that.
Barely. So, moving forward, now that we're back and we're kind of transitioning the company a little bit in a lot of different ways, one of the things that we're going to be doing is getting a little more focused on the subject matter of Gratcast. It's going to be a little more centered on the entertainment industry, on the things that Gratwick's doing, what we're kind of building here. Now, I do love my pop culture conversations. Those are always going to happen.
Political conversations.
I do love getting a little into the weeds on the conspiracy theories.
What about the sports?
Well, the sports is hometown pride.
Oh,
That's just hometown pride.
Oh, I see. There's an exception when it comes to sports.
No, that's hometown pride, and that's not, you're not taking that out of the boy. So
I did, in solidarity, wear my Bills shirt that I got. Chris's mom gave it to me. Very nice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're gonna come back better and stronger, and maybe not the next game because again these scumbags knocked our quarterback out for a bit. But
did we just slip from talking more about entertainment into you going straight into talking about how the team will do better?
No.
Yeah, you did.
You were talking about the shirt you're wearing. I'm talking about the solidarity that even after the big loss, we don't give a shit. We're still repping. So
yeah.
We're going to focus more of the show on the entertainment and conspiratorial tones of the entertainment industry. But for the more wilder rabbit holes that I like to dive down and things of that nature, that's going to be more focused towards the State of Mind podcast. Now, I'm going to toss that up on screen there. I'm taking more ownership and creative input in the show with David, and we're going to start having more serious discussion matters, subjects, and longer conversations. Because David's usually all over the place. He wants to hit and go, and the audience wants a little more meat on those bones to grow the show and have it get a little better. So I'm going to be the sounding board for him to bounce off of, talk about some different things, challenge him a little bit on some of his wild thoughts and catchphrases. Like he thinks Cowboys built everything. So the show's Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 7:30 Pacific time. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter under those names. And that's where we're going to get into the crazy stuff and explore all of those things.
And I think I gave everyone enough time to be able to see the stateofmind.tv.
Yep, that's his new logo.
I saw.
It's coming on a t-shirt soon.
I got to do the shows while Kris was gone, and I got to see the logos first.
Andrew sat in.
Yeah.
Did
I
a
will
good
say,
job.
Kris was saying their chat gets a little frisky, and everyone was very nice when I was working. I think Kris kind of stirs the pot sometimes.
Like mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
You already know.
Yeah.
So,
Floppy
dear,
doors.
while I was gone for the week,
Yeah.
did anything crazy, exciting, or weird happen with you? Did you get into anything?
I worked a lot.
You did.
I did the show
You held down the
3
fort.
times. I did a lot of work, a lot of different gigs. So nothing crazy, just trying to make sure I got to all of my meetings and appointments and jobs on time. But sorry, everyone, I'm a little more boring. I'm just trying to make sure.
Well, good job, dear.
Bills get paid.
Nicely done on that.
Yeah, yay for me. Yay me.
I appreciate you doing that while I went and worked my ass off all weekend for free.
You mean while you had fun?
Yeah,
You had fun at the Bills stuff. You got to meet players.
There was some fun to be had.
Who did you meet?
There were some players that were met.
Who did you meet?
The only one I actually met was Stevie Johnson, but there was
And that was a highlight because that was someone you guys were pretty much letting everyone know was going to be there.
Oh,
so it was a driving force for most people.
We'll get into this in the section after the next one. You're jumping out of order here, but Stevie's a real cool, smooth dude. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, how they tolerate all these people hanging off them, wanting pictures, all of this stuff 24/7. I don't have that dynamic. I promise you, folks, right now. If I become famous and successful and y'all know who the hell I am, you're either never going to see me, or when you do, I'm not going to be that dude. We're not doing, either it's one big group shot and everybody gets the picture, or that's it. I'm not doing 1,000 different pictures. I'm not having the Asperger guy come up to me and get in my face and tell me how we've been best friends forever, even though I never met you. That shit's not happening under my watch. I can promise you that. So.
I think if you make enough money, you will be very gracious to everyone who's made it possible to put that value on your work.
There's a difference
So
between
you totally
gracious
would.
and being a
He's booked for an
a
appearance.
yeah,
That's
but
what it is. An appearance
that's
is
exactly
you're there to be pretty much a standing prop to take
I'm
pictures
never going to
with
be a
and talk to
cardboard
people
cutout for
because
you to
that's
take
what
your
they want.
pictures. That's never, ever, ever going to happen.
Well, there you go, everyone. If Kris makes it big, don't ask him for a booking appearance. He isn't going to do it. He'll hide in the bathroom, in a stall, so people don't even bother him.
I'll be exactly how Eminem is with fans. Just not hearing it. A bunch of stans.
And that's how Stan became Stan, because he just wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, well.
Shameful.
Mail somebody else, Stan.
We ready to move on, Kris?
Yes.
Moving on.
I'd like to touch on something before we dive into this specific topic, though.
Oh, that was the next topic.
There was something that happened during our 2 weeks off that does need mentioning and acknowledgement.
Oh, something happy?
I guess
I know something happy that
it's
happened.
kind of happy. Well, you can go first. What do you have?
Our lovely Kelly and Jared from our Discord
yeah, they had
group
a baby. Yeah.
had the baby.
Yeah.
Yay!
That's great. More importantly, Alien Stock, that it's now become called, instead of Storm Area 51, went off on September 20th while we were doing the Mafia party.
How is that more important than an awesome new baby?
Dude, Alien Stock, everyone just showed up in the middle of the desert and they partied it out.
They didn't just show up.
They
They
certainly
planned
did.
it for months.
No. The planning all went to shit, and it was a free-for-all at the
Did they
last
show
minute
up?
there.
Did people show up?
Not a lot
That
of people.
was the plan.
Not a lot of people showed up. Not nearly as
because
many as
people
were
forgot
expecting.
their own tents?
The best part about, though, was there was some news reporter out there, and they're talking about, oh, we're out here in the desert, all these people are out here doing their camping, and this, that, and the other thing. And somebody did the Naratu run behind them in the background, which was what started the whole thing, was this is how we're gonna avoid the bullets. We're gonna do this anime run. We'll all go quickly past the bullets. That was the joke. And just this dude all by himself with his arms back goes running across the desert in the background of the video. I should have had that queued up. It was too good.
So it was so packed the dude had room to run.
They were in the middle of the desert.
Packed.
Yeah.
Burning Man doesn't have room to run.
Yeah, the Chads never showed up, so there was no
hanging Chads.
There's no pretty boys all souped up on the Monster Energy drinks to lead the storm, and it just ended up being a bunch of alien hippies all sitting out in the middle of the desert having some. Apparently, it was cold as shit.
It's the desert. It gets cold at night.
Yeah, so tip of my hat to all of them. Had we not had the Mafia weekend, I most certainly would have been in that desert with the alien freaks.
How would you get there?
Same way they all did. They drove.
He'll hitch a ride with one of you guys. He'll find you on Craigslist.
At some point, we're gonna have to take a drive down the alien highway. I think it's called. It's supposed to be super creepy and gives you some weird vibes.
Why would I want to go on a creepy road? That's how horror movies start.
Yeah, well,
Dude, I don't want to live a horror movie.
it's only a horror movie if the bad aliens get you. You never
Speaking
know.
of horror
It
movies-
could be like Navigator, Flight of the Navigator, where the good ship comes and takes you go for some sweet rides and then you come back like you never miss time.
Yeah, you didn't, but everyone else aged 12 years and your younger brother looks at you like you're a weirdo.
Yeah, well, then Flight of the Navigator took him back and sorted it all out.
Spoiler!
Oh yeah, spoiled the
Spoiler!
1984 Disney movie.
Dude! There are generations that have not seen that yet.
Newsflash: fake happy ending from Disney. All right, let's go with the actual subject matter that we're talking about here. So, as frequent viewers of the show,
Some of you, hello.
wherever you are, we've been talking for quite some time about Regulation CF and StartEngine specifically, and getting all the approval process done to qualify for the Regulation CF.
Mm-hmm.
And well, this continues.
I have a green cup, and that is the coolest thing in the entire world.
Yep. You're exposing our green screen.
I'm so cool.
This process continues. It's been like a hamster wheel going on 9-10 months now. So the way this whole process is supposed to work is the SEC set up specific guidelines for how this entire regulation CF offerings are supposed to work. And the gist of it is these third-party platforms like StartEngines, WeFunders, I even think Kickstarter's in on it now. Another one called Republic, Seed and Spark, and
there's a handful of them, but there's not a lot of them.
So each one of these companies, in order to be able to run these third-party offerings, they have to be registered and compliant with the SEC, and their job is to make sure that each company that does an offering, it goes through them, gives all the proper information, verifies that they're a legitimate company, and then goes ahead and StartEngine or whoever it is will file an SEC document on behalf of that company saying basically we vouch that they're a legitimate company and doing business and they're trying to raise funds for yada yada yada.
They pretty much do the work for the SEC and say we did all that background crap you guys don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Well, unfortunately, it seems like this whole thing is getting a little more popular than
they were ready for.
Than they were ready for and previously expected, because companies like StartEngine, they don't really have their shit in gear here when it comes to the approval process and a uniformed, universal expectation that is a
protocol and procedure.
That's a stationary target, that this is what you got to hit. This is the bar you got to cross to be able to launch a campaign and be done. Unfortunately, it's a process that's more like, okay, well, here's a couple things this person that did the review thinks aren't correct. Fix those things, and then you can resubmit. But when you resubmit, it goes to a completely different review person, and then it's up to their opinions on what they think might be wrong or still need to be a little beefed up a little more, need a little extra information, or need to be verified. So the problem becomes is none of these reviewers are working on the same set of standards, rules, or expectations of what qualifies each section of the submission process. So it's totally opinion-based, arbitrary, opinion-based, and inconsistent across the board.
And it would be nice if they looked at the previous reviewers' notes.
Yeah.
Just to see what reason they gave for why they were asking for the changes, because it looks like they are not looking at anyone's previous notes or why anything is updated.
Each review starts completely fresh. So we go through the whole review, say 4 things, they're saying, oh, these things aren't correct. It's not like once you correct those things, everything else has been signed off on. They go back and just check on those 4 and make sure that that's correct. Now, that would be a logical, sound operating procedure. But no, like a blank slate, they put that thing back in the review queue, and a random reviewer takes it like it's the first time they've ever seen it, and then they go through and some are more thorough than others, some are more anal than others.
Some of them don't like what the previous reviewer had you change and wanted it changed back to what it was originally.
Yeah, half the time.
How many times that's happened is insane. Insane.
As recently as the past 2 weeks, we get on the phone with them and try to clarify some of this stuff. And we get responses like, that should work. That should be good.
Like, they don't know themselves. What is the set?
Should be.
Has to have this kind of answer, has to have the following information, or else it's a no.
So,
and everybody needs to know that. They don't have that. In fact, Kris even went down to their main office and spoke, was it with the president or the vice president?
It's like executive of business operations or something like that.
Yeah. And that guy admitted, kind of a shit show over there. They need to get their shit together, so that's why Kris got to talk to multiple departments at once. And they were the ones who said, finally done. You are good to go. You've changed everything. Submit it, and we'll make sure it goes to someone who knows what they're doing.
The last time through was, okay, we're a little bogged down on all of these. Yes, we should be on the phone with the companies and going through it when the review process is happening. So, because normally the way it is, these things get flagged. Now it lets you know, and you got to just take another wild crack at putting the information in there, then email it back to them, then hope for 2 weeks later it comes back and it's okay. There's no dialogue. So my whole explanation is like you should be on the phone with these people, especially after it's already been reviewed once and you're going through on the corrections. There's no reason that it saves you time, because we've submitted 12 times in the past 9 months. Like it's just round and round and round. How much time is that wasting? That's probably why they're so bogged down, because they continue to get new companies, and old companies, they just keep getting stuck on a hamster wheel. So I'm like, why can't I be on a phone call with my campaign manager and a reviewer, go over each one of these items, and then have it done once and for all and be done with it? He's like, you guys have been through a lot and all of that. That's what we're going to do for you. We're going to get you on the phone. So, to his credit, 2 days later, I was on the phone with the campaign manager and the reviewer. Unfortunately, it wasn't the reviewer reviewing my submission. It was just a reviewer that happened to jump on the call and give their opinions on the questions we had over the ones that came back this time. And again, they're reading over it. Okay, well this looks okay. This should be okay. This should work. And it's all vague answers. Even the reviewer can't give a straight, hard yes or no answer on whether or not this will pass the review process, because the reviewer wasn't reviewing it on the phone like I was led to believe they were. The reviewer was just giving us general answers so that could be close in the ballpark when it got submitted the next time, and they weren't sure if they were going to get it or another reviewer would get it. So as far as they were concerned, they would pass that, but another reviewer might not. This is the standards that we're working under here with companies' infancy and survival on the line and being able to get to the public, where the public's supposed to decide. This the whole point of this regulation CF was for the public to decide on which companies they believe in, which ideas they believe in, which ones should have a shot to have funding and be democratized from having to go through the venture capitalists and all of that. If the public likes the idea, if the public believes in the company goals, the public can invest in that company. That's the whole reason this process was set up. And we've been...
Fiddled with?
Yeah, we've had our hands tied for over a year now on bringing everything Gratwick stands to be to the public. So not only can you have a part of it and involvement in it, but a say on whether or not this idea has any credibility, whether or not this business model that we're presenting that cannot go to the Hollywood establishment and seek money and funding from them. It has to come from a large audience, has any validity. And that's been the hardest part for us for the past year, is trying to survive while we continue to go through this hamster wheel of, 2 more weeks, 1 more review, just correct a few things and you'll be fine. And it's been 2 or 3 typos and rewordings for 9 months. And that's what we're working on here. That's what we're building from. That's what's been held at bay. Everyone keeps talking about Hollywood and how they're ready for a better way, a better method, a better way of doing business. I don't want to say that it's being suppressed, but it's definitely not being fast tracked by people that are a part of the establishment. Let's put it that way.
Well, I think part of it has to do with the SEC. There should have been very strict, objective guidelines for what a business needs to do in order to be accepted onto the platforms. For all of the platforms, a general flat-out, this is what's required for them to be accepted. And it should be known by every single department, every single person, just like a normal job. There is a procedure. There is a protocol in which you must follow, or else you're fucking up.
I can't even find the segment of the SEC that has oversight over these platforms. So it's just all ambiguity and a wild, wild west out there. All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
To the Mafia Party.
On to the Mafia Party.
So this is a large segment of the super fans. We've got the chefs over here. This is Pinto Ron, who you're gonna see in a little bit. His real name's Kenny. Great guy. Been 410 straight Bills games, road and away. This guy's been to. Freaking.
Tell me that the
nuts.
Bills are giving him season tickets for free.
This is Bills Vader. The chefs run the biggest tailgate party this side of the Mississippi, probably on both sides of the Mississippi. There's Bill Fredstone. Got to hang out with him a lot on Saturday. Good dude. There's Bill's Elvis. My uncle's not a big fan of Bill's Elvis. We stopped in and saw Uncle Dave on Friday.
Let's not tell Uncle Dave stuff.
Oh, well,
no, we're not telling his business.
He's got a very good reason that he doesn't.
Does he tell many people?
See, my uncle Dave could be a super fan.
It's too damn cool
if he wanted to be, but he just kind of does his thing. But he's
a super tailgate.
A lot of people know who he is. A lot of people have seen him. He's been in the same spot forever. Runs a massive tailgate. He's a legend in his own right. But apparently, at some of the darkest days of the Bills drought over the past 20 years, some Bills fans were coming to the game and doing the stupid, oh, we're wearing paper bags over our heads at the game type of routine. And Uncle Dave caught Bill's Elvis, who the dude's got a whole Bill Elvis outfit and a guitar and all of that. Everybody knows Bill's Elvis even without his head.
Okay.
He was one of the ones partaking in the paper bag over the head stuff.
While still wearing the Elvis outfit?
Yeah, which completely identifies you. And my uncle brought up a great point. Like, as a super fan, as one of the icons that get the most TV time and represents the team and the city through good times and bad times, you should not be ashamed of your team. And, yeah.
So he said it to him?
No, he just...
he just personally doesn't like him.
He's not a fan of him because he
go.
doesn't think that he handled his super fan responsibility quite well at a certain point in time. And
he wasn't loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so
that will happen.
There's a little bit of that gossip. And then this dude right here, this guy is Ezra Castro's brother. Ezra Castro is Pancho Villa. He passed away over the offseason. We had a memorial on Saturday. We're going to show you guys some of the highlights from that as well. It was an emotional weekend. So let's do the first video here.
Would like to show the party first, the happy stuff?
This was Friday night. This was
in the bar area at Soho, this Mafia homecoming party. It doesn't stop. What do we see on the menu here? Anything good?
Yeah, the burgers look really good.
You know what I see on there? It looks like about 300 yards from Josh Allen this weekend. I'm seeing 2 touchdowns for Frank Gore.
Plus at least 60 running.
60 running. Where are you from? You coming to the Mafia homecoming party? You look dapper as I've ever seen.
Mexico City.
Mexico City?
Mexico City, yeah, go Bills.
Mexico City to Soho. The journey is complete. Let's keep going on. Folks, enjoy your night. Oh, the chefs are cooking it up. Take me with you. Take me with you. This is what you call knowing the right people. Let's go. Lead me. Here we go. And the party carries on. We have a lovely young couple here. It looks like a first date scenario, potentially, but we don't know yet. It's not confirmed. How are we? A proposal on a first date? We have never seen this before. Mafia homecoming party. It's only here. Folks, what are your names? I'm sorry.
Kevin Nagy.
Cindy.
Nagy?
Fur.
Oh, okay, so see, we're going to... How are we doing? We're enjoying some drinks here. So what made the decision to come to the Mafia party tonight?
Well, we flew all the way from Seattle for the Giants-Bills game, and now we're going to be here for the home opener. So, but we're always Bills Mafia.
Wait, did you fly back to Seattle, or you stayed in New York State after that?
Stayed in New York, flew back to Buffalo on Wednesday after the Giant game.
You might as well do it, because even with the Jets and Giants both playing in New Jersey, we do really feel like we conquered New York State with that Week 1 and 2 game.
Yeah, we did.
Most definitely. Well, give me a prediction before we head out. Bills-Bengals this weekend. Are we going to get it done?
I'll most definitely believe Bills 31, Bengals 17.
Go Bills.
Wow, she agrees with the prediction. I love the suspense there. Folks, thanks for joining us all the way from Seattle for this homecoming Mafia party. Let's go. How are we doing, guys? Are we enjoying our night? Okay, we're going to keep enjoying it. I'm going to keep moving. Have a great one. Little psych out. You thought I was going to interview him, but nope, we're moving.
So that was
Those were some sunglasses he was wearing. That hairdo, wow.
Oh,
that was some pretty in pink looking outfit he was wearing.
That's
he
Maniac.
Was a preppy kid.
He's the star of Trainwreck Sports. There's a whole gang of guys behind Trainwreck, but this dude's camera presence, his quick wit, he's fantastic. I loved working with him the whole night. We also had Cold Front Report and Why So Serious doing some different hosting and interviewing with different people throughout the night. But if you want to watch the whole live stream, it's on the Gratwick Productions YouTube page. You can see the whole thing you can see the whole thing there. I'll be editing together some highlight videos and all of that from the weekend and getting that out here soon. But yeah, shout out to Maniac. He did a fantastic job going around talking to all the different fans, interviewing everybody, and getting into all of that stuff. So then Saturday was the memorial for
his brother.
For his brother, Pancho Villa. and it was a good time. It was a fun time. It was a sad bit emotional time. His son, which you're gonna see right off the beginning here, I think on top of the truck, leading the Bills charge, and all the fans yelling back, and it was emotional stuff. So
It's gonna be a little loud, everyone.
Go ahead and hit that video.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was there.
My buddy took care of it.
I brought those pictures.
I saw him.
And they couldn't pull it off because two other things, short notice, licenses and stuff. So his family approached me, right at the funeral, said, "Can you at least have spirit?"
Poncho power!
Yeah!
Let's go, Buffalo! Bill Mickey Warren!
Show!
Children these are. But we don't need much more of a kickoff than that. But officially welcome everyone. On behalf of all of us, we are so happy to have everyone here. Thank you, obviously, to Hammer for allowing us to have this beautiful celebration here. It's about remembering Ezra, Poncho, and really making sure that we celebrate his life and celebrate all of the memories that we have. Just for everybody today, tell a story, tell your favorite funny story, tell everyone around you, just some good stories, and make sure that you're laughing and smiling, because that is exactly what you want us to be doing.
All right, listen, I'm also a minister, so we're going to start this thing off right the way Ezra would have wanted it. We're going to open in prayer.
Yes.
If you could remove your hats, join me in prayer. I appreciate that. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful day. I'm sure Poncho's been bugging you for a while about fixing things up this weekend, and you hooked us up. It's beautiful. Father, we thank you for the gift of Ezra Poncho Villa Castro. He's a gift to us. In your words, you said the greatest thing was to love you and to love others, and you said everything else hung on that. Well, Ezra was a prime example of that. And we thank you that he showed us a way of passion, a way of love, a way of kindness, always looking to the interest of others. And we pray today that we would not only be here in honor of him and to pay our respects with the family, but that we would receive a dose of that same love that Ezra had, that we would share it the same way, and his spirit would carry on in the Bills family forever. We thank you, Father, for this love. We thank you for this day. Bless everyone in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
This is a memorial. It's also a tailgate. So right down the middle, 3 times. Pancho, Billa, to everybody together, we love you. 3 times. Ready?
Pancho, Billa, we love you. Pancho, Billa, we love you. Pancho, Billa, we love you.
I don't know if you saw off on the right there. That was the Pinto from Pinto Ron. You're gonna see some folks up on top of that van in our next highlight. But yeah, that was Saturday. It was pretty emotional. The whole memorial, we're gonna edit together in a nice little video for the family. But the whole memorial is on the YouTube page, the Gratwick Productions YouTube page. And Andrea was just asking about the milk in the
I wasn't asking.
Pinto
I noticed
Ron.
that on the red vehicle next to it, the Pinto, there was something scratched into it.
That's Tasker. Steve,
Which I thought was Rusker.
I think Steve Tasker probably signed the Pinto. But in the back corner, and that thing still drives. That thing's still street legal. They cook all the food on it and all of that. It's nuts. In the full videos, they give us a whole walkthrough of how they cook everything and all of that on camera. So it was great stuff there. But there's a half-gallon, a gallon container of a half-gallon left of milk in the back of the Pinto that's been there since it was actually 1991. The Bills had the greatest comeback in NFL history against the Houston Oilers in the playoffs. And for whatever reason, one of the guys at that tailgate brought a thing of spoiled milk to the game.
It was spoiled to begin with?
It was spoiled to begin with.
It wasn't like they started and they won, so they kept that half
No,
gallon.
it was expired. He's I'll just bring this to the tailgate anyway. Nobody knows why.
What kind of weird ass.
And they decided it was a good luck charm.
Russians was he making?
They decided it was a good luck charm, and it's been there ever since.
Okay, so this is what I don't get. If it's that old, wouldn't it have dried up?
No, so it's over time the soured milk is more toxic than or stronger than the plastic milk jug container. So it's eaten through several milk jug containers and everything. So they keep it they've got it like inside a bedpan. So once it
even worse, gross.
Once it eats through
it probably looks disgusting anyway. And then you put it in a bedpan and it's exactly what you think it is.
Once it eats through a gallon jug, they and it all flows into the bedpan. They then pour that back into a new gallon jug and start the whole process all over again.
Maybe they should go to a glass milk jug. Like you can get those at Whole Foods. It costs $6 for a thing of milk, but you can reuse that bitch over and over.
Everybody's got their traditions, and the Pinto's
carrying around
full of them.
poison is apparently one of them. That's
So-
where you want the food being made,
Okay.
right by the poison.
The highlight of what everyone's been waiting for, what everyone's been asking for, what everyone's wanted to see, the legendary ketchup and mustard bath for one Kenny Pinto Ron Johnson. Andrea, hit it.
We're going to have to run the ball. Hopefully we can move the ball, keep moving the chain, put up some points, and just take them out early. Get this game over with early so we can all celebrate with a victory. CG, and Garrett. Hey, man, our defensive line, what happened? I was scared. It's going to be a blowout. We're not going to be able to run the ball too well. It's going to be a blowout today. Get ready.
Way too early! Get your
Yeah, with this guy.
It was great. So we were.
Oh, you know that went under his glasses.
We had a chance
to
talk to him, and so the camera guy asked him beforehand, "Are you ready, Kenny?" And he looks at the camera. He's like, "I'm never ready for this."
Oh.
And then the news had asked him at one point, "Do you ever just like want to go to the game and not be covered in ketchup and mustard?" He's like, "Every game, but they won't. It won't end." So the way it started is way back in the late 80s.
That breaks my heart. He just wants to see the game, and you all pick on him and make him do that so you feel better?
Way back in the late 80s, they were all drunk and tailgating,
Mm-hmm.
and he held out his ketchup to his brother, who's Pizza Pete, and cooks the pizza in a filing cabinet. And he holds out.
You guys are weird in Buffalo.
He holds out this hamburger and says, "I need ketchup." And he knew that his brother was going to squirt the ketchup like
From
ridiculously.
a distance?
Yeah. So he held it out, and it still got hit all over him. And then the next week he backed up a little farther, and then more people jumped in, and over the 30, 40 years. This is what it's evolved into, an insanely crazy tradition. Like, I remember as like a 10, 11-year-old going to the game with my dad and going past the Pinto and the whole party, the bowling balls out of the shot. They have 100 proof.
You mean the shot out of the bowling ball?
Yeah, they do bowling balls out of the shot. Or shot out of the bowling ball.
Like the way you're saying, it's very weird sounding.
But Bella Hexdana, thanks for checking in. It's good to see you in the chat. So everybody, it's all free. They cook all the food for free. Whoever comes up, it's first come, first serve, and it's a mile-long line. And they've got all these bottles of the 100 proof, this real strange alcohol that tastes like shit. But you do the shot out of the bowling ball, then you slam the bowling ball down. Next person comes along.
That's how people get mono, and you spread herpes.
That's why we don't get sick. We deal with the cold. We deal with the cold weather.
Get sick, but you all get sick together. So you think because you're all like that, it's not sickness.
This is why every time you come back from Buffalo, you get the East Coast flu, and every time I come back, I'm good to go because our immune system has been built up over time by eating burgers and chicken wings. The chicken wings are fried in an army helmet. So
you eat food off of an engine.
Yeah, dude, this is
oil.
This is what
grease,
toughens you up.
Dirt,
this is what toughens you up.
It
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah. So you can watch the whole tailgate party on the Gratwick Productions page. The rest of it's all there. I'm gonna put together highlights of the entire weekend here very soon. Get those out and share them. But so from a production standpoint, now. We live streamed from the bar on Friday night, then we live streamed from the parking lot on Saturday night, and we live streamed from the same parking lot on Sunday. All three of these productions were completely different beasts and animals that we had to wrangle. The biggest lesson I learned from doing all of this all weekend, partnering with Code Sox and everybody else, is no matter who you know, no matter how long you've been friends, no matter how long you've been doing business together, always hire your own people. So we had some different promo people that were friends of friends, a cousin. They were supposed to do this, that, and that, pass out things. And they kind of mailed it in a little bit. They didn't do what they should have done. And you couldn't really, had no accountability over them because it was somebody's cousin. And you didn't want to start causing family drama with all this different type of stuff. But some of the people showed up at the last minute for doing the camera work.
Here's the thing. If they're doing it as a volunteer, receiving nothing in return except thanks, that's one thing.
That was
if you're doing it with a form of payment, money, a certain gift, some people wanted to go to a game instead,
game
kind of
ticket,
thing.
money, yep.
You're expected to do your job. I don't care who your cousin is. I'm gonna say it's a good thing that I wasn't there.
And it's probably not a good thing you were there.
The weekend before the Rams promo
and it was a much tighter ship.
And no one fucked around.
But the problem
we did our job. We got the pictures. We got the footage. We got the word out there as requested.
But the difference is there was a boss within the group. So doing the live stream and the street teams had to go off on their own and pass it out and do all that. There was no accountability into the circle. So if they lollygagged around, they just did beer shotguns at other tailgate parties and all that stuff. There was nothing I could do because I was running the whole live stream and all of that other stuff. And it just I will never go into another situation where I have not handpicked and selected the people. Now we had some great people do it on the camera and all that. Just Dishing, which is a clothing line out of Buffalo. These guys did the camera
Every
work
time
and
you
were
say that, it sounds like you're saying gestation.
No,
just dishing.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 separate words.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I said. 2
dishing
separate
up
words.
food, dishing up gossip.
No, like just dishing sweet passes that go in the back of the net. It's a hockey apparel line.
I was meaning more so they knew the spelling of it when they want to look it up.
That's why I gave them a reference of what it's in reference to.
Okay.
Just dishing passes that go in the back of the net because they're a hockey apparel. Those guys, Nick and Derek, did a fantastic freaking job for us all weekend long, and can't thank them enough. But with everything, there was pros and cons. So if I had to go through it again, I would always hire my own people. And then I was told, again, there was, because I was kind of doing this for other people and wasn't my particular event and all of that, I had to do kind of within the constraints of how it was done.
Yeah.
One of the things that was needed at all times for the live stream on Saturday and Sunday was a hotspot that could do at least 7 megabytes per second upload speed. We did not have access to that hotspot, and nobody wanted to be bothered to deal with it and handle it. So the hotspot in that parking lot both days, we had to do a whole live stream production through a phone. So like the phone wasn't shooting, the phone was creating a hotspot, and then the Sling Studio, which is the tower that all the different camera feeds go into, goes into the Sling Studio, and then the Sling Studio sends it to the phone, and then the hotspot sends it out. Now all weekend long I've been testing my phone to figure out like what we could expect from the upload speed on the phone, and all over town we were looking at anywhere from 2 to 5 megabytes of upload speed, and it's just not enough for what we needed.
Nope.
We got lucky on Saturday. We go to the tailgate for the Pancho Bill Memorial, and my phone suddenly started doing 13 megabytes per second upload speed. Couldn't believe it.
Yay!
Blown away. Bino's like, that's Pancho looking out for us. Like, woo.
Hopefully he looks out for us tomorrow.
So the stream goes great, excellent, except because it's so freaking hot out there in the parking lot. Dan's iPhone and the iPad started overheating and shutting down during the live stream. So we had to take turns putting them in people's beer coolers for the tailgate parties. We had to put the iPad on top of the beer ice to cool it off quickly so we could get back up with the live stream. But again, things that like if had we had a proper
cold packs.
Had we had a proper live stream box, and dude, these phones have never overheated. We do the live streams all the time. They've never overheated like that. That was the first time that ever happened. But had we been doing it the way we would have with a Wi-Fi spot, then my phone would have been freed up instead of doing the signal, and we would have had 2 phones to continue going, even if one got over hot and overheated.
Okay.
And then so Sunday we show up figuring, well, we were good to go yesterday when we were here at 13 megabytes per second upload speed.
Yeah.
Because there's 80,000 fucking people in the parking lot around the stadium, the entire cell phone signal and reception, all of that was down to nothing. We had 1.5 megabyte per second trying to stream HD for the tailgate party the whole time and all of that because there's, dude. A quick rant about e-tickets here. E-tickets for large events are freaking. They gotta go, or you gotta have some sort of stable Wi-Fi around the facility or whatever. So the Bills Stadium holds about 80,000 people, and they've moved over to e-tickets where you got to pull it up on your phone right before you walk in the gate and show it to them, and then they scan it that way. They don't print tickets no more. When you got 50, 60,000 people all trying to do that at the same time in one location, the internet signal came to a complete standstill. It took us 45 minutes to get into the stadium because everyone was standing there, couldn't pull up their tickets on their phone.
So the few people who downloaded their tickets or screenshot earlier and kept that, they were the smartest ones.
If they weren't stuck behind people who didn't.
Dude, if you can't do it, you get out of line. You don't get to stand there. It's like the person at the coffee shop who decides as he's up at the front of the line, oh, now I'll look and see what I want.
Wishful thinking.
No, you don't.
But you never
step the fuck out and you go to the back again, asshole. That's the way that works.
Wishful thinking, but you've never stood in line with the mafia. It doesn't go down like that. Then I got Danny freaking out next to me. I'm getting anxiety, man. I'm getting anxiety. I'm so surrounded by people. I'm freaking out, man.
Dude, you're at a game.
No,
you're surrounded by people the whole time. You're going into a stadium.
Like
how many thousands of people?
You were just jammed up on
up on your shit.
You were just jammed up on 2 tiny little stages, including on top of an unsteady truck with more people than should be up there, and you could have fell off of either one of those things. But you had the mic in your hand. You weren't all anxietied out then, but freaking standing in line. Nah. So all in all, it was a good weekend. There was a lot of lessons to be learned from the 3 live stream productions, and
one of which is you can't find the hot spots out in Buffalo. They don't offer them.
Oh, dude.
Like, that was ridiculous. Okay, so you said that you had called our provider, our cell phone provider.
All Saturday morning, I'm on the chat. I'm chatting with Sprint. Yeah, I'll throw him under the bus.
You do it.
I'm chatting with Sprint customer support the whole time. I'm like, listen, I need a Wi-Fi spot that can do at least 7 megabytes per second. Can you tell me what I need and where I can get it? Oh, yeah, sir. Here, this Wi-Fi is one of our newest ones on the market, and it does fantastic. Great. Where can I get it? Doug Lute checking in. Hello, Doug. Where can I get it? Oh, sir, every one of the Sprint locations in the Western New York area carries this Wi-Fi device. Now, the one closest to you on Niagara Falls Boulevard, they've got it in stock right now, sir. Would you like to go get it there? I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm gonna go pick it up there. So we gotta get Jamie and his poor girlfriend that was hammered from the party the night before. Wake them up at 10 in the morning. Meet us at the Sprint store. We need to get this Wi-Fi spot, and it's going on your account. So, half drunk, she shows up like a trooper, like a good Buffalo girl, and she, all right, whatever, I'm down. This is what we gotta do. This is what we gotta do. And we all get there at the same time to the Sprint store, and we don't carry that in stock. I'm like, oh, can you tell me which store does? Oh, sir, we can order that for you, but none of the stores carry that. Look,
you're like, well, according to the headquarters, you do have it in stock because they sent them to you.
The corporate
Maybe
offices
go check out the box you never opened.
Are never on the same page as the retail stores. I don't care what business it is. You always get 2 different answers from the retail location and the corporate stores.
I just splashed myself with my drink.
Nice. What's your drink?
Total strap. Water.
Well, it's just water.
Just water.
All right. Let's move on to our bullet blitzes.
Oh, all right, everybody. You know what? Let me take one quick look and just see, just in case, because I know everyone's been having incredibly busy times on our Discord group right now.
Oh, it's a quiet week in Discord this week. I was out of town.
We have a new baby. We have people with a lot of family stuff going on.
People taking extra jobs for the Halloween season. Emily's Corner's on hiatus because Emily is helping out at some haunted houses and some cool stuff during the Halloween season. So.
Yep, we do have a Discord question.
Oh, we do have a Discord question.
Hello, Siobhan. Thank you for checking in with us. So, her question: the Buffalo Bills are going to the Super Bowl. What team would you most like to see them face off against?
The worst team possible. As I said,
I think want to rub it in their face even more.
No, I want to actually win. It's like, yeah.
If you're going to the Super Bowl, you've beaten how many other teams? You are supposed to be good. Are you saying that they're not?
The Bills won 4 times in a row. I don't take anything for granted.
Are you saying the Bills aren't good?
Listen, again, we lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. I'm not taking anything for granted. I want the softest team possible to play in the Super Bowl. So, with that being said, I would probably pick the Los Angeles Rams, though, because I think the hype train of my hometown versus my surrogate town would be a sweet Super Bowl matchup. If you take the chat thing off there, it's not working.
Yeah.
I've got their chats are showing up over here, but that one's not working.
Restream's being silly again. Whatever, happens all the time.
Yeah. So that would be my choice. Do you have a preference, dear?
The Bears.
The Bears.
I like them to all play together. Mainly because their colors are almost the same, aren't they?
Dude.
Blue and red and white.
No, not even close. It's
the Bears.
Brown,
Bears
black, and orange.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, if you had the iPad there, like I told you to have for a research tool, you could look up the Bears logo.
I'm not going to do that. I'm talking to people here. Why would I care about what's on the internet?
Because you're questioning my knowledge on the Bears colors. That's what it is, dear. So, some quick thing that came up here relevant to all of this. PC culture strikes again. So last Monday night, I think it was, the Bears played somebody on Monday Night Football.
Okay.
And the franchise quarterback was sucking it up pretty good, threw an interception or something. And the head coach came over and was trying to give him some hard coaching, some freaking stop making stupid plays type of stuff.
Okay.
And the quarterback was trying to give like gum service and freaking argue.
Yeah. Or
not necessarily, but making excuses. So the coach got caught on camera saying, "Shut the fuck up and listen to me." And it was this big viral thing. You can't. Professional coaches can't talk to professional players like that. You can't say that to your employee. That's why would you do that to your franchise quarterback and da 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 da. Yeah, so this was a big argument about whether or not in sports you can cuss out your players now. Have we really gotten this soft?
Is that your bullet blitz? Because that kind of sounds like your bullet blitz.
No, but we can answer that one. Are you? What? All right, you're a female here. You come from a sports background too, right?
Yep.
Have you ever been cussed out by a coach?
Yep.
Like,
Let's just say they never said fuck. Because, junior high and high school, you tend not to swear at the students. You will get in trouble for that one. But, oh yeah, totally got yelled at.
We
had a basketball coach who was so mean to us that we lost every single game during the normal season. And following that, there were the regional championships that you could play that weren't necessarily through the school, but you could play it at the rec center with the exact same team and a different coach. So we had one of the girls in our class, her dad was our coach, and we won every single championship. We won like 6 of them in the 2 months afterwards and wore our gold medals in.
Patriots
so our science teacher got to see that he was a shitty coach. It was him, not us. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He wasn't motivating. He was making us feel like shit, which makes us not want to play and makes us feel like everything we learned was wrong. So we were playing worse. All it took was one coach going, "You totally got it. Work as a team."
I had a high school coach that would twirl the whistle around on the necklace, and if somebody wasn't doing something right or didn't like the way you're doing it, he'd twap you on the helmet with the whistle, so it echoed through your entire.
I mean, at least it wasn't your arm or anything. Like
the helmet was probably worse because your hard helmet that get hit with the whistle and it freaking make your ears ring. Okay,
I wouldn't have thought of that.
All right, my bullet blitz. The Joker movie is coming out here in the next week or so. It's already inciting fear and warnings that there could be a potential incident or shooter at one of the screenings.
So everyone should watch it on Fandango, is what they're saying. Just watch it at home on Fandango and fuck you, AMC. Yeah!
My question is, do you think the fear and panic is justified, or it's just the hype machine trying to make people want to see it even more?
I would love to say it's just the hype machine, but it's justified. I mean, it might have been a couple years since the last time someone did it, where they went into a theater that they knew everyone was going to be going and decided to shoot it up, but it takes a movie like this, a movie that everyone goes, ooh, it's going to be awesome, it's going to be dark, there's going to be loud noises, and there's going to be at least one crazy-ass motherfucker who's going to ruin it for everyone again. So I implore you all, watch it at home. Watch it at home, stream the motherfucking thing, pay less than you would each having to go to pay a ticket and have your own popcorn and candy and enjoy your own adult beverages and whatnot at home while watching.
I don't even like the idea of sitting in a dark room with a bunch of strangers anymore. You're sitting ducks, you're sitting targets.
And the thing is, if you strategize where to sit, it should be close to an exit, except that's also where they come in. That's where the bad guys come from. Is either the exit's down at the front or on one of the side spots. And you're just... I don't like going to movies. I don't trust people anymore. They've ruined it. It's been ruined.
I think it's the hype machine, number one. Number two, there should be security for this type of stuff anyway at this point in time because of past previous incidences. David Stay of State of Mind, which we were talking about at the beginning of the show.
Hey, David.
Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at State of Mind TV on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
7:30 p.m. Pacific.
He's chimed in and said it's called a langer. I'm not really sure what he's referring to on the langer there, but that sounds a lot.
Are we talking about the Joker movie, or are we talking about?
I'm not sure what he's referring there, but I believe Fox told me the other day that a langer is a potato skin with pulled pork on top of it, or something along those lines. But I don't think that's what David's referring to when he's saying langer.
But that is weird that you would have heard the same word that you've never heard before used twice in 1 week.
He thinks
by two different people with two different meanings.
He thinks the warning is a psychological operation, and then asks, why are they going to show the movie if they're already warning you? Fair point.
Because they have to make their money back somehow, and they've already got the contracts all set up, and that would just destroy them all.
Well, if
theaters and the distributors.
If the outrage mob takes down another screening, then we're in full blown we're in full blown censorship, because they already took down the previous movie.
Digital streaming ship, yeah, baby. Stop going to public places and just watch it at home. It'll do amazing business for streaming.
David was saying langer is the necklace that the refs wear. David, for somebody
lanyard. That's the lanyard, not langer. The lanyard, the thing that goes around, it clips onto it.
A lanyard is the casing.
No, lanyard is
that's the plastic that your VIP or backstage
okay,
pass
now we need
goes
everyone. Is the lanyard the necklace that actually clips onto it, or is it where your little badge goes into that you clip onto?
This is why we have the internet
and he has
on
to go
hand.
It ruins all discussions when people literally can do that.
No, it makes them intelligent and informed.
Do you remember the How I Met Your Mother episode where they actually realized they went from talking to each other to now they, instead of asking each other questions and debating things like, what's the most eaten food in the world on the planet, and instead they just Google and go, bread.
The necklace with the hook on the end is in fact called a lanyard.
Fuck yeah! Andrew's right.
David got us on the right path.
Mini Cabbage Patch.
So that sorts out the problem now, because a langer is a potato skin with pulled pork on top of it, and a lanyard is the thing that holds your whistle or backstage pass.
Yeah.
Look at that. Sorting out the English language here, folks.
Exciting.
All right. You're up for a bullet blitz.
Okay, so mine are actually, weirdly enough, sports related. It's always you who picks them, but this is mine. Over the weekend, during the halftime game of the Bills and Patriots game, 2 Bills fans got married out on the field. Tacky. Cool.
Corny.
As a Bills fan, is that corny? For 2 hardcore Bills people to get married at the game, in the middle of the game, on the field.
That's corny. The Bills actually held a contest.
Yeah.
And
that's how they were able to do it.
Yeah, they picked this couple won, and they had this whole cheesy manufactured backstory about how the first date together was going to Bills games, and they used to play catch at the parking lot at the tailgate parties all the time. And when he finally proposed, talk about presumptuous. So the dude proposes by writing it on a different football and throws it to her to play catch with. She sees it on there. Then the dude's already got merchandise and stuff of all of these things saying they're engaged and all of that he had for all the tailgate silverware and paperwork and all the stuff with the tailgate was all commemorated to celebrate her saying yes. Just totally freaking assumed that she was going to say yes. So
that's totally one where he's mentioned it. They've had talks already. They might have even named children's names, kind of thing. And she was just waiting for him to get around to it.
Yep, David agrees. Just an advertisement for the machine to make money. So yep, the whole warnings around the Joker thing is part of the hype of the type of movie that it is.
Like I said,
I hope
it's hype.
Wild card in play.
I would love for it to just be hype. I really would.
I'm sure somebody will try and do something stupid.
Yep.
just because they want the attention.
There's always someone who ruins it for everybody else, and they never get the full punishment they should for doing that.
David's running into the character limit over here, like we're going to read a whole paragraph on the show.
Ooh.
David, what would you do if one of the Mandarians wrote a 3-page essay in the chat while you're doing a show? You gonna dictate that? You gonna read that whole speech out? No, buddy. You shouldn't be running into the character limit. All right, my last bullet blitz. Do you think a celebrity has a responsibility to speak up or out, or should they just shut up and count their money?
Any celebrity?
Absolutely. Anyone with an audience and public influence.
I think any person is allowed to say whatever they want. And if you have a strong belief and a good argument, you're like everybody else. You get to in America. That's in the U.S. That is our rules. Try not to hurt other people with it. If you're saying to draw attention to a cause, if you have a bigger platform, why not? Hopefully you're not spreading hate. Hopefully you're doing something good with it, but you are responsible for what you say, just like everybody else. And if your influence results in bad things, be ready to take responsibility for it. So, yeah, you can say whatever you want. You shouldn't have to shut up. I don't think because you get paid a certain amount of money, you've lost the right to have an opinion or the right to even state it. It doesn't work that way. But then again, there are people who are paid to be spokespersons, and that is part of their contract, is you are getting paid to not ruin the image that you represent. And with that, you have been paid off to be quiet about your own private thoughts in public and to keep it amongst the people who you trust and are not going to retweet or record you and then make you lose your job. But that's part of your agreement. If you're a spokesperson, you know what your agreement was. If you're a celebrity who is getting attention just because you're you or you're doing occasional jobs that bring you into the limelight, you can say whatever the hell you want. Just be ready for the responsibility of what you say has results and consequences. And don't try and say that now that people are listening, oh, I don't control them. You have influence and you know it. That's why you're called an influencer. That's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why people go to the box office, buy your CDs, check out your videos on YouTube, follow you on
CDs
Twitter.
anymore.
The cool people who actually like to hold on to things, who don't like it when they're...
Same thing with e-tickets, man. There's no physical goods anymore. It's bullshit. So, here's my thought on this, dear.
Yes.
If you're a peon and you have no real voice or audience or anything like that, you can say whatever stupid shit comes between your two ears, and if people want to judge you as a moron, they can judge you as a moron. But if you have an audience, you have a following, if people look up to you, whether you ask for it or not, I think you have a social responsibility that if you care enough to speak up and speak out on something, you better damn well be informed on it at the very least. Because too many people want to speak up and speak out their opinions because they have an audience that'll listen to them, but they don't want to be informed in those opinions, and they go around recklessly sharing things and spreading false information that only makes the situation and the lack of awareness that we're suffering from as a collective that much worse. So by all means, I think anyone with a platform does in fact have a right to speak up and speak out, but if you don't care enough to be informed, then count your money and shut the fuck up.
All right, then.
Do you got one last one?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
I need to bring my sound effects back.
California is officially the first state to pass a bill that would prohibit the NCAA from barring a university from competition if its athletes are compensated for the use of their name, image, or likeness. College athletes in California now have the right to get endorsements for their name, image, and likeness instead of the schools. Like every other person in the United States, you're allowed to make your own profit off your own individuality. Just because you're paying a school for tuition or you're playing for them with a scholarship doesn't mean that they own you and they can bank all the money that you should be banking instead. I like that idea. What do you think that is going to have effects on college athletes?
So, I think this is an all or nothing game, and I'm going to have to credit somebody on Twitter. I actually believe it was a Bills analyst, Josh Reed, that commented on this first and said that, yes, the players should be able to make money off their own likenesses and all that, but if you only have one state that makes this law, that completely tilts the recruiting scales unfairly in the advantage of California. Because think about it. If you're a star athlete coming out of high school and you're one of the most recruited players, are you going to go to any other school in the country where the university makes a bunch of money off you and you make nothing? Or are you going to go to a California university where you can make money off your name and image through your entire college career?
I mean, you could make money off of your own talent, like
yes,
you should.
but the point is the entire sport gets tilted and corrupted if it's only one state that does this instead of a federal rule that allows people to make money off of their image and name and likeness, which they should be able to. But
how likely is it the other 49 states are actually going to step up and try and be equal?
Well, I mean,
if they want to have athletes go to their schools, if they want to keep them in their states that don't offer as many opportunities, shouldn't they open the opportunity door?
Well, yeah, but that's gonna take the time it takes for legislature and proposals and all of that to go through. And
hey, Gavin can totally let them know how long it takes.
A lot of these countries in the South absolutely love winning at all costs, or these universities, colleges. I should say, colleges and universities in the South absolutely love winning at all costs. So I'm sure they're not far behind, but this does need to be something that I think is uniformly applied at the from day one, rather than having California have 3 years of recruiting advantages because they're the only one that offers it first.
I think it'll keep the athletes in school longer. Instead of requiring them to, if you want to make money, you have to play a certain amount of years in college. Then you're allowed to go professional. I think it gives them the opportunity to finish out their actual degree, to learn something so that if in 5 years you bust up your leg and you can't play anymore, you can actually have a job. You can actually do something. You'll have smarts. It'll give you a little bit more incentive to see beyond the physical talents that you have and realize that you are a person with a brain.
I think a small percentage that'll influence, but overall I don't think that'll change much because it's still whatever you're making off of your name and likeness in college is a fraction of what you could be making off your name and likeness in the pros plus salary. So, but again, it can't be one
March
state.
March Madness might be a little different.
Can't be one state at a time. In other words, California is going to start dominating.
But there has to be a state that starts it. Otherwise, the NCAA can continue, it's never going to happen because we got to make so many people agree.
It could be argued for a federal law.
That has to go to Congress.
It had to do the same thing. It had to do the same thing through the state law.
State legislation is different than federal legislation. And there aren't lobbyists.
Johnny Wyatt checking in at the end of the show here.
Hello, hello.
Pretty good show here. We showed the ketchup and mustard, Johnny. If you want to see an old man get sprayed from head to toe in ketchup and mustard, you're going to need to rewind back to about the 38-minute marker.
Wow, you even know the minute marker.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
All right, so that's going to pretty much wrap this shindig up. Do you have anything else here, dear?
I don't. Do you guys have anything else?
Starting next week, I'm going to try and be a little more organized on what show topics we're going to be talking about in the future so we can push and present that stuff forward, gain a little interest in that. We're going to actually start trying to build an audience for the show rather than just...
now you're talking crazy.
Talk to the future.
Talking crazy.
If you tune in to State of Mind on Tuesday, we're going to be diving into all of the stuff going on in Hong Kong. We actually have a man on the inside, Mr. E, is going to be joining the show, and he's going to be getting into all of the things that's going on over in Hong Kong with the protests. What's going on here?
I want to show David stuff again. That's all. There we go. So that everyone knows where to check out David again.
Fair enough.
I just had to move around a little bit. Sorry.
There it is. Tuesday we'll be diving into Hong Kong with a man on the inside.
So State of Mind, STAYTE of Mind TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, D Live.
D Live.
It's also on D Live. Yeah.
Oh boy, still got that jet lag.
Never gonna go away now.
It's better than the East Coast flu.
Hell yeah, it is. Happy I didn't have it this time around.
All right, dear. You know what time it is?
It's time to say goodbye.
Fuck this shit. I'm out.
Okay. Good night, guys.
Put a song on.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.